What the hell, Texas? What the hell? Porte Texas. Second time. News now Houston is arrested again. I can't really play this video. Looking around their site, it looks like an audio will be available later, but they don't actually record the actual video. Tried to join the Zoom meeting, and I also wasn't able to do so. So I want to go back into agenda number 4, which if we switch over, hold on. Okay, agenda number 4 here, citizen comment, generally limited to 5 minutes per person. In accordance with state law, the time may be reduced if there is a high number of speakers or other considerations. So, News Now Houston was arrested during citizen's comment, or I guess a couple minutes after he stopped speaking, for words that he said. Now, allegedly, okay, again, I'll wait for the actual audio to come out before I take a serious opinion on the matter. But allegedly, what he said, he talked about the arrest the other day, about being arrested for walking on the curb. Again, that's that zigzag, zigzag. Stupid crap. No, nobody on this planet would do that. Nobody. Tell me you would, and I'll call you a liar. Alright? But anyway, so he talked about that stupid arrest of him, News Now, Patrick, and arrested... No. My gosh. I looked it up earlier today, and I can't remember now. So, he spent a couple minutes talking about that. Then at the very end, he said, F the LaPorte police. And that was the end of the conversation. He sat down. A few minutes later, the chief motions to one of the officers and says, arrest him for disorderly conduct. Disorderly conduct. Okay, so Texas penal disorderly conduct. Okay, let's look up exactly what, and we'll find out once it's released what he was actually charged with. But let's just go through this entire statute, because we don't know exactly what he committed or what they arrested him for. Person commits an offense if he intentionally or knowingly uses abusive, indecent, or vulgar language in a public place, and the language by its very utterance tends to incite an immediate breach of the peace. Saying F the police should not, in any society, incite an immediate breach of the peace. Other than amongst the stupid officers who the courts have ruled, they mere fighting words are not enough against cops, because they're held to a higher standard. Incite an immediate breach of the peace. Okay? Makes an offensive gesture or display in a public place, and the gesture tends to incite an immediate breach of the peace again. Creates by chemical means, no. Abuses or threatens a person, no. Makes unreasonable noise in a public place, no. Fights with another, no. Discharges a firearm, no. Displays a firearm, no. Exposes his anus or genitals in a public place, and is reckless about whether another may be present who will be offended or alarmed by this act. Although I'm sure he wanted to, he did not do that. For a lewd or unlawful purpose, enters the property of another, no. While on the premises of a hotel or comparable establishment, no. While on the premises of a public place, ooh, this looks promising. Looks into an area such as a restroom or shower stall or changing or dressing room, no. Okay? For the subsection of A, the term public place includes public school campus, okay? No. It is defense that the actor had significant provocation for his abusive or threatening conduct. For the purpose of this section, an act is deemed to occur in a public place or near a private residence if it produces its offensive or prescribed consequences in the public place or near a private residence, and a noise is presumed to be unreasonable. Well, that's not what this is going on. Okay, a riot? No. So that's disorderly conduct. Defense when conduct, so 4204 consists of speech or other expression. If the conduct would otherwise violate section 4201, consists of speech or other communication of gathering with others to hear or observe such speech or communication, or of gathering with others to picket or otherwise express in a non-violent manner a position on social, economical, political, or religious questions, the actor must be ordered to move, disperse, or otherwise remedy the violations prior to his arrest if he has not yet been intentionally harmed the interests of others. Okay, so there's a great defense there. 4204, drop the freaking case, you stupid officers. So the order may be given by a peace officer. So did he say F the police, and then the mayor's up there banging on the gavel and saying stop it, and he said F the police again? Is that what happened? No. No. Okay. Disrupting meeting or procession. Ooh. Person commits an offense if, with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting, procession, or gathering, he obstructs or interferes with the meeting, procession, or gathering by physical action or verbal utterance. Ooh, possibly. An offense under this is a class B misdemeanor. So, by saying F the police, once again though, I really don't... He didn't do it to disrupt it. They can't prove why he did it. He did it because that's how he feels. He is so pissed off at the police department for falsely arresting him that he went to the city council meeting to seek redress. Which is, just to seek redress is a First Amendment right. And then the fact that you are saying F the police, that is also a First Amendment activity. False alarm report, no. 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 Harassment, no. So I guess, let's see if Texas define breach the peace. Ooh, Texas courts have defined, okay. So let's go back into the PDF and let's actually see. Let's actually skip, let's skip anything that, breach. Stopped appellant for breach of the peace for use of his profanity towards the little girl and witnessed by her mother. Under Texas Penal Code, a person commits disorderly conduct if he intentionally or knowingly uses abusive, indecent, profane, or vulgar language in a public place, and the language by its very utterance tends to incite an immediate breach of the peace. Penal argues that such profanity spoken to an adult by a stranger might be a breach of the peace, but the words do not have the same effect when spoken to a 10-year-old child. Did you really cuss out a child? A 10-year-old? Oh my God. Horrible person. I am not condoning this. But let's move on. Texas courts have defined and interpreted the term breach of the peace to mean an act that disturbs or threatens to disturb the tranquility enjoyed by the citizens. See Ross v. State. Fighting words are those that inflict injury or tend to incite an immediate breach of the peace by their very utterance. We can find no law or appellant provides none that differentiates between fighting words spoken to an adult versus a child. Therefore, we hold the statute applies to minors. So what did he say to this child? So police officer was outside her home when she saw appellant drive by her house and heard him curse at her 10-year-old daughter. While looking for appellant, she instead found Officer Lekas and told him what had happened. They located his car in the neighborhood, stood stopped appellant to question him. Appellant denied shouting profanity at the little girl, but a passenger in the car admitted that the appellant had done so. When speaking with the passenger who was sitting in the back seat, don't snitch on your friends. Don't talk to the police. Officer Lika saw traces of green leafy substance that he believed to be marijuana between the driver's seat and the door. Called for backup and received consent from appellant to search the car. Residue and traces of what appeared to be marijuana. Several passengers in the car testified that the appellant had yelled nothing at the little girl and there was no burning marijuana in the car. Appellant's 15-year-old brother testified they were listening to rap music which contained words such as the F word and the B word. Whew. Okay, so I will support you if you cuss out a cop. I will go to the ends of the earth to support you if you cuss out a cop. If you cuss out a cop's 10-year-old daughter, you will lose everything I would have just fought for you. I'm not going to fight for you. Looks like was this a Court of Appeals? 14th Court of Appeals. So the state appeals court. They're not going to fight for you, obviously. If you cuss out a cop's daughter. 10-year-old daughter. But that is not what happened here. What happened here was he said, F the police. F the police during a city council meeting. At the end of his speech, he sat down peacefully. Then a couple minutes later, the cops came and arrested him for disorderly conduct. Absolutely BS. Texas, get your shit together. Pull your heads out of your asses and get your police to do the right thing. Porte Texas, you are failing at this. City Council, you are failing at this. Whoever hires your police chief, you are failing at this. Fire your police chief. Get a new one in there today who is going to straighten out your department. No more of this. Texas, you are putting a black eye on every police officer in this country. Get your shit together. Let me know what you guys think. Have a great